Hey everyone, good to see you. It's Tim back here with you. Once again, still in Hungary, by the way. You can probably tell from the background. And we'll be here for another 70 days. But I'll keep up with our videos as we explore the Bible together, one day at a time. Our scripture reading for today is in 1 Kings chapter 21 and 22. And here in these chapters, once again, we're looking at the wicked Ahab and Jezebel, and his nemesis Elijah appears on the scene as well and offers God's view of what is going on here. But you could say it's good to be the king. Ahab thought that everyone has to do what you say, right? They just salute and say, yes, yes, sir. You say jump, everyone says, how high, sir? Unless, of course, you're a king who has a subject foolish enough to say no. Like the neighbor of Ahab, for example. Naboth, his neighbor, had a vineyard that was conveniently located next to the house of Ahab, and Ahab wanted it. He thought to himself, that would make a nice vegetable garden. It couldn't be more convenient. It's right there by the house. And Ahab made a reasonable offer. At least he thought it was. He said, Naboth, I'll trade you a better vineyard for this one, or else I'll just buy it outright for cash if you'd rather have the cash. What would you like to do? Well, he didn't want to sell. That's what he would like to do. Now, we need to understand Naboth did not turn down the king's offer because he just wanted to be difficult. He wasn't trying to put himself in a better bargaining position. He wasn't even doing it because he disliked the king. He was just doing it because it was the right thing to do. He was doing it because that's what God would have him do. And I know that because I've read Leviticus chapter 25, and there we have God's instructions. He laid down the rules for land, which the children of Israel would come to own someday. They were not in the land yet. They hadn't conquered the territory. They still had years in the desert ahead of them. But God is looking forward into the future when they conquer the land. And the land will be divided up on the basis of a lottery that would determine God's will for each parcel of land and each family that it would go to. And the rule is no land may be permanently bought or sold. As far as God is concerned, it all belongs to me. It isn't your land. You just live on it for a little while. And Naboth understood that. That was the portion of land that was given to his family, going back to the time of Joshua, and it had been passed down from generation to generation. And now he was in possession. He knew that he would be violating God's law if he sold his vineyard to the king. It's God's land, it's not the king's. And the big bad king was upset. This was an example, though, of uh, an invisible sin. All the other 10 Commandments are sins that can be seen and heard. You can hear the lie, or you can see the thief steal something. But the one exception is number 10. You cannot hear, you cannot see someone covet. And you may wonder why coveting even made it into the 10 Commandments when it's a sin that seemingly doesn't get outside your own head. It just stays right there. Oh, but that's not true, my friends, is it? And you can see in the story of Ahab that this is a sin that doesn't stay invisible very long, does it? And before long, a plot is hatched and lies are told, and the body of Naboth is lying outside the city walls. And so now you can add the sins of lying, murder, and theft to the list of the crimes that Ahab has committed. You see, that's one reason why covetousness is such a serious sin. It doesn't stay inside your head. It'll find its way out. The Apostle Paul said that was the one that really got him. In Romans chapter 7, verse 7, he said, what shall we say then? Is the law sin? God forbid. Nay, I had not known sin, but by the law, for I had not known lust, except the law had said, thou shalt not covet. That got him, because he knew that in his heart and in his mind that he was a covetous man. In the New Testament, we're told that covetousness is idolatry. And that's because it's a sin that begins when you are no longer content with what God has given you. And it doesn't matter how much you already have. You can be as rich as a king and still be ungrateful and uncontent with what you have, what God has given you, and desire more. The vineyard that you covet, or whatever that is, takes the place of God in your life, who has blessed you with life and with all who sustains it. All that sustains it. That's why the Bible tells us that covetousness is like idolatry, because it replaces our God, who's given us nothing but good. Well, think about that today. Give that some thought, and continue our reading. Tomorrow we start a whole new book in the Bible, Second Kings, chapters 1, 2, and 3. And so read those 3 chapters, and I'll look forward to being back with you again very soon. See you then.